Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. Back when Endgame was in the theaters, the first thing that I thought walking out was that we were at the end of an era. I mean, come on, so many characters either died or retired. A 10-year storyline completed before our eyes. There was nowhere to go but down for the MCU. But I did realize that there was an emergency plan called Robert Downey Jr., otherwise known as Iron Man. You could always bring him back and things would be fixed. So he's kept in a case with a sign above it saying, "In case of emergency, break glass." And here in the year of our Lord 2024, 5 years later, we find ourselves in that exact spot. Marvel needs something to draw attention because they just faced one of the biggest stumbles in their history. And to be fair, it's not exactly their fault that the actor playing their main bad guy, Kang, Jonathan Myers, decided to get arrested for domestic assault. This would be like if they lost Loki right before they started filming the first Avengers film. Okay, maybe not that bad because it would have completely killed the entire idea of what they're doing before it even started, but still, this is pretty bad, especially because people don't really care about the characters anymore. All of the OG Avengers are either retired, dead, or have been disrespected so badly and replaced that it doesn't really matter if they show up anymore. And because the writing hasn't been on point, people don't particularly care about the new characters anymore. So that leaves Marvel in a conundrum. What do? Do they just recast Kang with a new actor? Which would work because we're doing a multiverse story right now that will never seem to end. Of course they're not going to do that. That would be too obvious, and it wouldn't fix the problem about the fact that people don't really care right now. So they broke the emergency glass and pulled Robert Downey Jr. out to use him as Doctor Doom, which is an absolutely terrible idea. I love it. Hook it into my veins.
Just hook it to my veins!
Oh, I absolutely love this so much. It's so funny. I was laughing all weekend about it. It is both the smartest and dumbest thing that they could have done. It's so perfect. You gotta admit, the reaction to the post-Endgame stories hasn't exactly been lighting the world on fire. Personally, I think it's because of Nepo babies who are in it to make money to pay off college debt, even though they don't care about these types of stories at all whatsoever. Woke DEI, that's all stupid. I welcome different looking characters, especially women, because I don't want to stare at a bunch of dudes all of the time. No, the problem isn't them, the problem is the writing and the fact that the people involved don't particularly care. Except Miss Marvel. I gotta give it to that actress. She cares a lot. You either care about a good story or you don't, and if you don't, well, we can see the results. But of course, those that did care were beaten down by corpo-mandated slop. Oh, let's put this in it. Oh, let's put that in it. How about having a clear vision and knowing how to wipe your own ass? Movies in themselves are miniature miracles. I can't believe that they actually work sometimes. But the fact that they're trying to do a series of films with no plan whatsoever, all the while coming off of a 10-year plan that made them a bunch of money, it just blows my mind. Keep it simple, stupid. This shouldn't be that difficult. Come up with an outline and then make a plan about what you want to do and where you're going. And each individual one doesn't have to be all that complicated. Look at Blade. Why is this so hard for you? It is a badass black guy killing vampires. That is literally a license to print money.
Ah, screw it.
There sure is a lot of shooting themselves in the foot right now. Just look at their last projects, The Marvels and Secret Invasion. Yeah, that sure did please a lot of people. Everyone loved that. Good stuff, Marvel. Plus, you made Thor a comedy fan service character. You went through the Hulk's entire character arc off screen in a time skip, and you put Hawkeye in the worst television show ever. Name what happened in the Hawkeye show. I bet you can't. So that leaves all of the original Avengers dead, retired, or a joke. If DC films weren't so irredeemably bad that you couldn't watch them, you would be losing right now. That's weird to think about, isn't it? Honestly, bringing back Robert Downey Jr. was their only choice. Otherwise, they'd face the biggest bomb that they've ever seen. Honestly, it makes a whole lot of financial sense to back a Brinks truck into Robert Downey Jr.'s driveway. But come on, you couldn't do evil Iron Man. You had to do Doctor Doom. You couldn't have taken Doctor Doom seriously by introducing him through the Fantastic Four with an actual Romani actor. Look, I know that you're not going to take the name seriously. Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom. There's going to be about 5 minutes before one of the quirky teenage characters comes in and makes fun of the name. Which, you know, I'd be okay with if Doctor Doom immediately blasted that character through a wall to show them who's boss, because it's Doctor Doom. Please take him seriously. He is a very good character in the comic books. I guess the real questions are, what's the storyline? Which heroes are going to be in this film? Is it going to be evil Tony Stark? Is it going to be Victor Van Doom? Are you going to treat this seriously? Is a European involved with this film? Because I know for a fact that they would not let a Romani on screen. I'm just saying.
I hate you!
Can this work? I mean, maybe. It is my heartfelt belief that every single idea could possibly work in storytelling if you write your ass off. If I were writing this, I would have Robert Downey Jr. be Victor Van Doom, who is invading the main timeline in order to protect it. He discovers that if anything happens to this main timeline, then all other universes fall apart. And in his mind, this universe has become too weak to defend itself. So it's his job to make sure that they're ready for any giant threats. Oh, like, I don't know, Galactus? This version of Doctor Doom could have been watching the main timeline for a long time, and he's very worried about what's going to happen, especially since Iron Man died. Without Tony Stark, things have been falling apart. And because the version of Victor Van Doom in the main timeline isn't doing anything, this version of Doctor Doom steps up. And he wears the mask to hide the fact that he looks like Tony Stark, because he doesn't want that to affect how people view him in the new timeline. Have all of the OG Avengers come back along with Spider-Man, because they were closest to Tony. Think about who's left. The new Captain America, Captain Marvel, all of the new heroes. They didn't know Tony. It wouldn't be that personal to them at all. In the second to third act, have someone knock off Doctor Doom's mask, whether it be Spider-Man or Thor or the Hulk or Doctor Strange. Have someone do it and then freeze up when they see that he looks like Tony. And then Doctor Doom can chastise them, calling them all weak and telling them that they've made mistake after mistake after mistake since Tony Stark has died, and that is why he has come to this timeline. And then that's when everyone's at their lowest, where they feel defeated because they think he's right, that Tony Stark would be disappointed in them and what they've done since he passed. But then they decide to rally up together and to prove Doctor Doom wrong, and then they defeat him, and then guess what? He admits that he was wrong, and that Tony Stark was right in believing in the people that he left behind to handle the dangers ahead. You know what? I've actually convinced myself that it should be evil Tony Stark instead of Victor Van Doom. He should just be pretending to be Doctor Doom. That way there can be a lot more emotional weight for everyone involved, and so that Tony could say goodbye to everyone one final time and tell them that he believes in them even though they've made mistakes. They may be human, but they're still heroes. And then the movie ends with all of the Avengers receiving information on the various threats across their universe, starting with, I don't know, Galactus. I am not emphasizing this enough. It should be about Galactus. Look, I know that he was shown as a cloud, but I don't think that they're going to do it right, that they're going to treat it like the universe-ending threat that it is, that it's even worse than Thanos. Build it up to Galactus. Make an outline. This is the only way that you're going to fix this. Have a plan.
I got a plan, John.
You always got a plan, Dutch.
Because if you're not going to build to something and make an outline and put good writing into this, then bringing Robert Downey Jr. back is for nothing. It's going full pro wrestling. By God, The Undertaker's come back to fight Brock Lesnar. But Why? Because business was down and we needed some way to make money. Couldn't you have just, put good writing in for a couple years and build yourself up? No, that's too hard. Cookie started meowing at me. He did not like the fact that I was making fun of pro wrestling. But it's true, things can get really bad really quickly. Especially because they already erased the fact that Rhodey was at Tony's funeral. Instead, it was someone else pretending to be him. Yay for retcons! This is Marvel and Disney's chance to fix things, to make things right, to get everything back on the right track. Not only for the OG Avengers, but for the new characters. Make it so that they're developed in unique ways involving the legacy of Tony Stark. Build them up. If you do that, things will turn out great. You wanted my attention 5 minutes ago. You wanted my attention 5 minutes ago. Why are you doing this? I don't want characters like Miss Marvel and America Chavez to go away. I want them to have interesting stories and unique character development. So please, make the most of it and don't make it a bunch of fart jokes. Or you could do that and make me laugh a whole lot. I guess that's another option too. Either way, I'm going to be entertained. Whether this is fantastic or this is just the worst thing that's ever happened, I'm here for it. I'd prefer if it's good, but you know what? I take my entertainment where I can get it. And if something fails miserably, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna have a good time. You're welcome to disagree with all this. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Gentlemen, there's a solution here you're not seeing.
Thank you all so much for watching.
You're still here?
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. You bye. Boom.
Do not despair.